Hi. We just saw Paper Towns, and I I got pretty emotional watching this movie.
And I
Uh,
could hear you breathing. I'm like, why is he breathing? Oh, I think I know why. Because you're just breathing really hard. I'm like, is he okay?
yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'll start on like an upbeat note. This is this is a really enjoyable movie. Um, I went into it uh, just expecting like a really pleasant road trip mystery romance movie. I got more.
Hmm.
Honestly, I feel like I got a lot more.
Yeah.
It's from the same writer and screenwriters as The Fault in Our Stars, and we even have some of the actors, including Ansel Elgort, making a rather,
A funny, pretty awesome
yeah,
cameo. I'm
and
pretty sure
and
Shailene Woodley
also
couldn't show up though because she's probably busy with Insurgent or something.
Allegiant, yeah,
Allegiant. Oh yeah,
and
that's the
also
actor.
Nat Wolff, the guy who plays Quentin. Um, in Fault in Our Stars, he plays
Oh,
Sick McLovin.
oh, wasn't he the one with the glasses or
Yeah,
something like that? That was
the
him.
guy
Oh
who
yeah.
had his eyes removed.
Yeah, and we also saw a trailer for the intern. He's in that too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he was that.
You
He was.
sure that was him?
Yeah, that was
Because it
him at the
kind of looked like
beginning.
him,
Yeah, it
but
was him at the beginning. Yeah, that
yeah.
was him. That's what because when I saw the commercial a couple, I forgot what movie I saw it in. When I'm like that. Oh, that's the guy.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, it's a really enjoyable road trip movie. I went in thinking I was going to get a bit more road trip, still I didn't mind because I came out really impressed,
Yeah,
and
I
so
wasn't as excited about it as you were though, because I actually didn't like the trailer so much. I thought
all
the
right,
trailer
well,
was all right, but it just wasn't it just didn't interest me. I thought the trailer was kind of done. I thought definitely the movie was definitely better than the trailer though, because I felt the trailer kind of miss. I just didn't like the
yeah.
trailer so much, but
Like
eh.
I said, I didn't go into this movie thinking that it was going to be awesome. I don't know if you thought it was awesome, but
Well, I didn't think it was
um,
awesome. I thought it was
for
good. I thought it was really good. I
all
just
right,
didn't think. I don't know if I would say
yeah,
awesome, the, but yeah, I still thought it was really good.
yeah, and so so um So I think we should get into the characters because
Hmm.
there are. It's one of those movies where it's like it's an ending of high school movie, and and the teens are kind of are like afraid of moving apart from each other.
Oh
And
yeah.
there are like six main characters in this. Well, maybe five, like the five that go on the road
Well, it's
trip, and
mainly the three.
all.
It's mainly the three. It's
Oh
mainly
yeah,
the
the
three
three guys,
guys
and
for the most part. But like, it's
yeah,
mainly centered around mainly Nat Wolff's character and Margot, the girl he kind of
yeah,
likes, even though she's kind of gone for most of it. But she was the main reason I was kind of excited because she's going to be in the Suicide Squad movie. She's going to be Enchantress. So I'm kind of curious of how they're going to display her because I read one of the comics that Enchantress was in Justice League Dark, and she seemed kind of interesting. So I was like, okay, so I want to see her in this so I can see kind of hopefully she was good. Margot, the girl played Margot, was great. I thought
yeah.
she was very good.
You know, she's only 22 though, and her voice, she sounds like Scarlett Johansson, doesn't
Yeah,
she? Yeah,
yeah. She looked. I also liked. She didn't look like she was very wearing that much makeup. She looked
yeah,
kind of like normal. I like that about that too. That she
yeah,
looked very normal. She didn't look like she was wearing a lot of makeup. I mean, there was one scene where she was, but most of the part is she was. Well, really one time where he's having a dream and she was in that dress. That was. But other than that, most of the time she was just. She. I thought she looked. She was like just no makeup. I was mostly. At least I think there wasn't any makeup, but she looked pretty normal. I like that. That they used like a normal
yeah,
face. It wasn't just like I'm all makeup. I'm super pretty. I like that. I
yeah.
thought that was a good. That was a good choice for her.
And so I think all of the characters that go on the road trip, I think a lot of people can relate to at least one or two of them,
Oh yeah.
and and they're all given a they're all given like a really decent amount of development for them to flourish, with the exception of maybe Angela, Radar's girlfriend. Why is he called Radar anyway?
I
I
don't
wondered
know,
that.
but yeah, yeah, I definitely felt the best part was the characters. That they were
Yeah.
all interesting, and they didn't feel like they all didn't feel like carbon cutouts of some people. They felt very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're pulled over at night on the highway, and they just sort of oh, contemplate is. Am I using that word right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. They just. Yeah, they just sort of. God dang it. Uh, oh, they're all pulled over. There's like a subplot with Ben, the kind of geeky and yeah, he's sort of a geeky kid, and there's a girl named Lacey who was Margot's best friend, and
Yeah, that was like one of my problems that Lacey didn't. I felt Lacey should have stayed with Nat Wolf's guy because there was a part where they all left Nat Wolf behind so he could find because he thought she was going to show up, but she never did. But then I kind of felt that they should have resolved that a bit with her, 'cause her being the best friend
oh yeah,
there was a
yeah,
whole
that's
thing
true.
because
Yeah,
she said she never knew about it. I wanted to see her resolve that with Margot and say she never knew, and that was one of my only gripes. So let's get back to what you were going
yeah,
to say.
okay.
Sorry,
So
but I just wanted to bring
yeah,
that up.
I really love that one scene where yeah, Ben and Lacey talk. Radar and Angela have like their own moment where they're discussing Radar's really abnormal collection of black Santas.
Oh, that's awesome. That was just like.
Yeah, and then Q is just sitting in the car, just just thinking about Margot, and it has it's kind of an uncommonly it's kind of an uncommonly powerful moment. I mean, not much is happening. He's not saying anything. Just yeah.
Yeah, there was some, but I want to talk about some of my problems. Just not
Okay.
too bad. There weren't
All right.
nothing that really made me angry. It was just kind of there was some sappiness a little bit at the end. I felt a little not too bad. It wasn't. I've seen worse movies, but there was some sappiness in this that I think that like if my mom or my brother were seeing this, they would just like go ugh. Like
Mm,
I know my mom would not enjoy it. I don't think my mom or brother would like, especially my brother would not enjoy it. This is not something for him. But
okay.
I thought there was some of that, and then also. So I had another point, but like, oh yeah, some of the filming was a little hipsterish because that was my problem that it was going to be kind of hips because it is very John Green's a very hipster writer, and I'm not
Yeah.
big on hip. Well, I didn't feel it was too bad though. I felt it
Okay.
was kind of laid back for the most part, but there was some stuff, just some of the filming he did, like some of the shots, like some panning stuff he did, and some other that I thought was kind of silly. It was kind of hipsterish, but for the most part, I thought it was fine. But other than that, yeah, I had my little problems like that, but other than that, I was fine.
And there was
The,
like that one gag that's like straight out of Dumb and Dumber while they're on
yeah,
the road,
yeah,
and Ben's just really has to urinate, and
yeah. The only difference
they
though is that at the end of that joke, he spills it, and in
they
Dumb and
hit
Dumber,
a
it's the
bump,
guy.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
in the Dumb and Dumber, it's they get pulled over by a cop, and the cop drinks it. That's the only
Yeah, yeah,
difference.
that's him.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, the
To be fair, the scenes like that on the road where they're like running into the convenience store just picking up stuff, those scenes are funny, but they don't really there's not much consequence. It's just kind of there for
yeah.
laughs, but
Yeah, and like another problem, like with the sappiness, was that it is another one of those like the end. It's our last day of senior, like of we're seniors and we're gonna be moving and we're not. Maybe we won't be friends after this. It's kind of like there's stuff like that that they do that's a little sappy that I've seen before, but on that it doesn't bug me too much. Like I said, nothing. The problems I had didn't bug me too much that I hate. Like that, nothing like really made me angry. Like Southpaw, like you thought some of the cliches bugged you, but I was fine. Out for the most part, I didn't feel it
yeah,
was too bad. I felt like the same thing with this. Nothing really. I had the problems I had just never. They didn't make me angry. They're just kind of like they're bugged me a little bit, but I got over it by the end of the film. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially because like at the beginning I was a little. There's parts where I was like, and then there's parts where I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, and then by the end I'm like, okay, and then I understood everything and it was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I the thing that kind of caught me off guard. I got more than I expected. It's not predictable. I mean,
Oh yeah, because
well,
I thought there was a part that when I was being bugged, I'm like, yeah, they're all gonna get girlfriends because there was a part where Ben got that one cute girl he was always hitting on,
Yeah.
and then the one guy
Radar.
Radar already had a girlfriend, so and
Yeah.
then I was afraid, and then the one guy was gonna end up with Margot, but he never did. So I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, thank God they did that, because if they all ended up with girlfriends, that probably would have bugged me a bit more about the film. But they didn't. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, so
Well, I thought the whole thing was like a whole test for him. I was sure that when he stays and everyone leaves to go back to Orlando, I thought that was like all part of the test. Was he going to stay for her? But the film really takes kind of an unexpected turn at the very end, and I really applaud the movie for taking a risk like that, and
the
because
thing that does happen, I kind of, or are we not spoiling this, or the
I
whole?
might get into a few spoilers near the end. Let's try and talk about what we can before
Okay,
getting into spoilers.
all right,
I'll tell them where to go to like. Actually, that'll probably be the end, except for me announcing what's coming next week.
yeah.
Um,
And is there any trailers in this movie that you saw that
the only one was like Scorch Trials
Oh, all right,
that we haven't talked about yet. But
all right.
okay, so yeah, so like I said, I also really enjoy like road trip and mysteries. Although I do have to say, uh, actually now that I think about it, it actually makes more sense. She didn't think that. I gotta say that for the end because that's a spoiler. Okay.
But I did like the
Right.
mystery bit. It wasn't,
Yeah.
and I liked one thing. I was afraid that they might have, that they were going to talk to somebody about it, and maybe the guy's like, "You should go find her," or something sappy like that. They didn't do something like that. Like that was, I was like, thank God they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Have the magical guy shows up and gives them advice, and that would have been dumb.
Yeah, that kind of would have been.
I'm glad they didn't go that route.
I even would have thought that, and I'm a sap for sappiness.
Oh yeah.
It's a joke I often make. It's all right. So I really love the soundtrack too. I mean, this is a really common kind of soundtrack with a lot of coming of age movies. It's where
techno and all that.
yeah, and like electric guitar. I really love that kind of music though, especially in coming of age movies like this. And I
like
really
that
do
movie.
want to check out some of the songs.
Yeah, some of them were good. I liked some of them. Some of them were like, that's okay. And then some of them were like, I was kind of like, this is kind of catchy. If it was like, I would kind of listen to this.
Yeah.
Even some of like just the straight up like hipster, because it has a very hipster vibe, and there is some hipster music in there that most of the time that most of that stuff bugs me, but most of it I can go. Some of it in this one was like, okay, that's kind of catchy. That's kind of nice. And I heard some. There's even like I think I heard some Vampire Weekend in there. My mom loves them, so.
All right. Well, so I would. This actually would be a pretty rewatchable movie for me, especially if I had like friends over, especially friends from high school, because I will say right now that one of the reasons this movie hit a lot of notes with me is because I feel very close to the people from high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was homeschooled, but I'm talking about like a high school youth group.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, I really gotta stop saying "and so."
It's all right.
Ah,
You said it again.
okay.
And the singing they sing Pokemon
So-
is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not a
that.
fan of that song,
And
but yeah, I love
and there's
that.
also when they're about to go into the troll hole, when Ben, who's still kind of half drunk, he just breaks into that song. I couldn't identify it. I think other people might have. They just break into that song. They all slowly join in. That was.
Oh, it's the Pokemon theme.
Oh, it's a Pokemon thing.
Yeah, that's
okay,
what I said.
yeah.
The Pokemon theme. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. It was also a scene that also showed how they connected too. It was. Yeah, so this movie is very funny and very enjoyable, and I think that's what, and and I think funny, enjoyable, and kind of somewhat bittersweet in there is what most people are going to come away with.
Yeah.
And
But another like this is I just want to talk about this little problem. The only problem it's not really a problem with the movie itself. It's just that it's a movie that I'd be trouble recommending because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to love. There's a lot of people I could recommend this to, but there's also a lot of people I can't recommend. It's hard to who I know to recommend this to because some people I know some people might like this, but some people might find it kind of annoying or something. Like I said, my brother probably wouldn't like it if my brother went to go see it. I don't think he'd like it. Like because I don't know how many because some people don't like. I know a lot of people who tend to not like movies like this, or you might or something like it's kind of hard to recommend. I think for me, anyways.
well, the film does hold a 59%, so I guess that may kind of show um the split line there. I so again, I'm the kind of guy who I oftentimes do give in to sappy romance to an extent. I mean, something like the remake of Endless Love. It's so obviously cliched, and
Yeah,
yeah.
depends.
So, so the thing that I, so the thing that I really applaud this movie for is that it so like I said, it goes down a different turn than you think it's going to, and it brings forward the question: are you more in love with the actual person, or are you more in love with the idea of being with that
Yeah,
person?
no, I've seen that in a lot of
And
movies too, but I felt it was done in a way like this. It was
yeah,
good because, especially because a high school thing too. That's a high school thing too, like where you see this beautiful woman from like even there's even a scene where the one guy he actually like starts he likes the girl because she's beautiful, but then
yeah,
as he starts she actually is pretty cool. That's the thing about
yeah.
that's a big thing about high school too because you see all these beautiful women hanging around and you're like oh they're cute but you don't really know them and you start to come up with this idea of them but they're actually not like that at all.
Hmm.
I've seen that, but it's just high school is a big thing where that happens too. Like it happens that in high school especially because you're a kid and your hormones and all that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. And so the reason I really relate to this movie is that I actually did take a road trip back in February to see my love interest from high school youth group, and 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 so that and that theme of this movie was kind of what was kind of the question that I asked myself as I left, and
actually, I probably could recommend this to some people, like people, especially fans of John Green and maybe younger, like teenagers. I could probably recommend this to. Like, I think anyone who, especially anyone who hasn't seen like a movie like this before, like who I would probably recommend it to them. To them, I kept thinking I forgot about that, but yeah, that's definitely a good person to recommend it to. But yeah,
yeah. And so yeah, that's why this movie that's why the movie struck chords. Is that like the same
yeah,
okay, yeah. This movie struck chords with me for that reason.
yeah. I always like that too.
I got to give credit to the movie too because we are still getting romance movies that don't seem to have much idea on how relationships actually work. And I'm talking to you, you utter poison that is 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because yeah, because yeah, it felt like the
yeah.
relationships worked perfect because it wasn't just like you meet a girl or Twilight too. You forgot about Twilight. That's another
Yeah.
relationship. Like, there's no way like a guy like that or like like just it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It's just creepy. Like it's just the whole like you see somebody for the first time and you're instantly in love with them is not
Hmm.
that realistic. I mean, but
Yeah.
maybe there's always an attraction first, and then once you get to know them, it's like and it felt like that kind of even though because he didn't really even though he didn't really know her and figured it out, but that was
Yeah.
still yeah,
And
interesting. Yeah.
he always thought since they were really little kids that he was in love with her. He even says at the beginning, from the moment I saw her, I was in love. And yeah, so so credit to that that's not really an actual thing. That's just when yeah, that love at first sight I think is just pure attraction. But so in days where a lot of teenagers are very impressionable, um, and it's really great to see a movie like this um, bring forward a bring forward a thought that kind of connects you with reality a bit more. And yeah, so to get into spoilers, uh, the movie does end with Q eventually finding Margot, uh, several hours after they find this place that the paper town, and
Yeah, because they're searching for like this, because an actual paper town, because it's like a paper town is like some town that's like not really like a real town or something like that on a map. I
yeah,
forgot that why they do that, but yeah,
it's something to do with copyright infringement.
but yeah.
And so after everyone else leaves, he stays. You think that that's part of like the test.
Because he
Is he
stays
so
and his friends
madly in
leave
love with her that
because they're going to go, they want to go to prom. You forgot
yeah,
to, because they want to go to prom, and they have to get going so they can get ready for prom. But he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna get a bus. You guys go, because yeah, it's because and you think
yeah,
like it's part of this test, and you can
yeah.
continue after that.
And so eventually he does find her while he's trying to get a bus ticket, and and so they go in for like a milkshake, and they and she tells him that she wasn't expecting him to show up, and it ends with the two of them. Um, it ends with him realizing that he never really knew her that well, and that they kind of have ways to part. God,
But they
they
don't end up. The basic is that they don't end up together at the end
yeah, because
because
they
like
have different they have different like goals.
well, it's mainly because he kind of when he met her, he didn't really know her all that well. He kind of created a version of her in his head, what she was kind of like, but he really didn't know her because like even she mentioned that she doesn't even know who she is, because that's why she moved to this town because she wants to kind of discover who she is. She wants to go to the, because it's nice and peaceful and you can read and and so she can discover who she is eventually, and she might, because she'll never be, because he's a very much, because he's a very simple guy, because eventually he does want to settle down and have kids and stuff, but that's not her.
Mm,
Like he even admits that's not going to be her. That's never going to be her. She's an adventurous type of person. She doesn't like that. She's never going to do that. So it makes sense that they wouldn't end up together at the end, because she's not like that. She's wild and all that, and he wants to settle down and have kids someday, just
yeah,
even he'll have some adventures, and he discovers through her that it's like he's finally living his life. That it's like at the end of high school, like he says, for everyone else, for him, it's the beginning, and everyone else, it's kind of the end. It feels like the end, but it's really not, because that's what high school. The end of high school isn't really ending; it's really the beginning of something, which is kind of makes sense. It's
yeah,
kind of interesting.
yeah. And people are a lot better at explaining these things than I am.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
I was gonna say something. Um, so yeah, in days where we're still getting the kind of movies that say that you just gotta give absolutely everything up for one person that you've only spent like a day with, um, this movie challenges you to think whether you whether or not you really know the person, whether or not you're just in love with the idea of being with that person, and so yeah, gotta really give credit to that, and it is really great to see a romance nowadays. Well, excuse me.
I don't even really consider it a romance. I really consider it just a coming of age story in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
It's more of that, because it's never, because a romance would just be always just focused on like love, and because no one really ends up together. There's no love, no one except for like, I mean, there's some kid, like even like his friend Ben doesn't really I mean his, our, what's their one friend, I forgot his name, the one with the black Santas.
Radar.
Radar, he has a girlfriend, but it's not really about him, and Ben doesn't he gets her, but it's not. He goes to the prom with that girl, but never really specifies if they end up really together as dating. It's just they're going to prom together. They could just be going as friends. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's just so it's not really a romance. It's just more of a coming of age story. But
Yeah.
and it's real. But it's really good. I was surprised because like you're more surprised because you wanted to really see this movie already, but I was just like not like
Well,
really.
not really.
Yeah,
it was just kind of it just kind of it just kind of piqued my interest for the month because of the kind of genres that appear to be romance, road trip, and John Green.
Yeah, it's just that but I was going a bit, but I was a bit more nervous about it, especially because I'm not as big a fan of John Green because I like The Fault in Our Stars, but I haven't really known anything else he's done other than that, and I've heard, and my brother particularly has problems with John Green, so I don't, but I don't know John Green that well, so I didn't really have, so I was a little nervous because the trailers didn't really spark my interest that much. Like I didn't hate them. I didn't think they were the worst trailer I've seen. Like it wasn't like 50 Shades. Every time I just see the 50 Shades of Grey, I was like, stop.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait for this movie to be out because then I don't have to see the trailer again. That's the only decent thing about a movie like that coming out, because you don't have to see the trailer ever again.
Yeah, so out of the 3 movies that came out this weekend, I have to really recommend this one the most. And honestly, it's one of my favorite films of the year thus far. It's I enjoyed like just about every minute of it. It's really funny. It's bittersweet, and the characters are really relatable. And so well, I keep saying this. It's really great to see a movie like this step forward and try something different. And so there are flaws in it, but I'm going to give it a final grade of an A.
I'm gonna just give it a B, but yeah, I still really liked it. I thought it was very good, and yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know if I'd buy it, but I definitely would. I would definitely wouldn't mind seeing it again at all. Like I would. It's definitely a movie I would see. I would like seeing again would be good, but like, I don't know about buying it. Not yet. Maybe in the future if I really think about it. But other than that, yeah, I do think it's a lot better than what it's getting. Even though it's not getting too bad. It's only in the 50s. It's not like in the. It's not in like Pixels has 20. Is 20%. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna.
The consensus says that it's not as deep as it tries to be. It may not be all that deep, but
yeah. I mean, I still think I like Southpaw a little better, but that's just me. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's still very good. I think B is definitely very good, and it's very good. And like I said, if you love John Green and maybe if you've never seen this type of coming of age story before, I think you'd love it. And it's pretty, because I was definitely surprised, especially just try to see it, just try to go on with an open mind. Don't be like angry all the time.
Yeah. All right. So I just have to end by saying, go watch it.
What about trailers?
All right. Well, the only one we haven't brought up right now is Scorch Trials that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what's going on in that movie. It's of course post-Maze, but apparently Wiccan is an evil organization.
Yeah, I'm still want to see, because I was surprised. I kind of like the first one. Yeah. I mean, the first half. The ending was kind of weird, but well, it was just a sequel bait. I didn't like that so much. Other than that, I was still surprised. I thought the director Wes Ball, he's also coming back for the second one. Yeah. I thought I did think he did a pretty good job. I liked the visuals, and I thought there was some pretty cool stuff in it. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna see it, and it has some good actors too. They're getting Lily Taylor is gonna be in it. That I forget that one guy's name, but he's been in a bunch of stuff like The Dark Knight Rises, and he was in this one film with Jason Statham, Blitz. Which wasn't a great film, but he was really good in it.
Yeah. And Barry Pepper is also gonna be in it.
Barry Pepper, who's
Battlefield Earth.
Oh,
he's not Lone Ranger. The Green Mile and Saving Private Ryan, yeah.
He's also
so yeah,
in,
he's not a bad actor usually.
Yeah, what was that movie he was also in this movie I saw with Casino Jack with Kevin Spacey, and that was good too.
Yeah. All right, so
But
Scorch Trials don't really know what to expect. It just seems like they find out Wiccan is evil, and so they got to escape through something called the Scorch.
Which is like it's like a name for the desert. That's because it's now just the desert.
Yeah.
It's the planet is called the Scorch, I guess.
All right. Well, that comes out in 2 months, and so I guess I'll close by announcing the end of the Rogue Vacation tour. That is the triple feature next week. It's the end of the tour, Vacation, and Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. All right. That's all for now.